Hey, welcome to my channel. If you are new to the channel, my name is Wayne, and today I want to talk a little bit about people who are maybe frustrated, filled with anxiety and anger. I don't know, in my own personal world, I don't see that a lot when I go out and, you know, have interchanges with people and talk to people. But it's really seems to be out there, and you hear a lot about that. I saw articles today about how loneliness is causing a great deal of anxiety in people, particularly young people. But I'll bet you also, too, in people who are in around or just above 70. So, what can cause some of those things? Probably financial could be talked about in this day and age. What we bring in as opposed to what's going out. Most of us in this age group, we live now on a fixed income. That's very nice. Expenses, however, are not fixed, and they do tend to go up. And sometimes anymore, making ends meet from month to month can get a little bit tight. So people get, maybe a little bit worried, fearful, and anxiety around that. So I got my notes here because, otherwise I tend to babble. And I'm trying out this new thing with the background screen figure. Part of my learning curve may as well be utilized while I'm making videos. So I got this nice little beachy backdrop with a palm tree and all relaxing and things, and try that out today and see how it works and what the results are. So it's easy when we're dealing, I guess, in social media, from what I've seen, for people to pick fights or become nasty or rude. It's really easy in social media because, well, there's no real accountability. And, the odds of the guy if somebody is rude to, showing up and bopping you one are pretty slim. So there's some safety in that. And you see a lot of angry things on YouTube. I know. I've seen a few, and there's sometimes these simple little videos, where they're on an airplane, and it's obviously not a real airplane because there's actually foot room in it. And the guy behind the other guy is kicking the seat and being a jerk, right? And it erupts into a fight, blah, 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 blah. And you can tell it's not a real event. It's a production to post on YouTube. Well, it obviously gets views because people go to a lot of trouble to do this. And these video channels that host that kind of stuff are doing quite well. But this is indicative of people in a state of anger kind of walking around. The only time I might see it is, when I'm out putzing around kind of thing, and I'm not in a hurry and they are, because some people think the world's going to come to an end if they get to the grocery store 2 minutes later than they had thought they would. But there's this built-in anxiety or frustration that comes out sideways in little situations like that. And you might see that also in a store where, somebody's had to wait a while to get what they want or do what they want, and they get a little snippy with the server that's looking after them, and it isn't often directly their fault, but nevertheless. So people, I don't think today either, people feel particularly in control of their world. And that too can be fearful and a little bit frustrating, create a little anxiety. And I'm wondering about that because our world is so much different today. right? And I mentioned that finances might be a reason. Another big reason that I think people are filled with anxiety or frustration, or you see it or hear about it a lot, is social media. Because of social media, we are so much more aware of what's going on in the world and all over the world and how bad it is. And, sometimes up close, beautiful films and recordings people have made of some horrible events. And we really get to encompass the whole planet. And I don't really think we were designed to mentally or emotionally handle the whole planet. It was easier back in the day when we were mostly only aware of a much smaller world, and we didn't feel the need or the compulsion to take on the world situations. And although people might say, well, no, I don't care what happens over there, this constant bombardment of some not nice stuff going on in the world is there, and people watch it. This is called the news sometimes. Whether or not you're getting the straight goods or not, who knows? But you're putting yourself always in a position of seeing a global perspective, which would be okay if we knew not to tie into the responsibility of the whole globe, but rather to be present and responsible for the world we find ourselves in. If more people took that approach, they'd be less stressed out. And overall, I think the world would probably be a better place because people wouldn't get so burned out trying to handle all this stuff. We deal with people all the time, and I think one of the nice things we can do for people is, I'll use my coffee shop example. You're in your coffee shop to have your afternoon latte, and it doesn't go too well. They're busy, or something goes wrong, and you have to wait longer than you should have. And the interaction wasn't the smoothest. My invitation would be to get beyond that. So when the situation is finally resolved, you can look at the person and smile and say, thank you. Hey, I hope you have a great day. I can do that even if the interchange went great. And that's good too. But even if it doesn't, what do you think you're going to do for that person when you kind of get beyond all that and you give them that smile and say, hey, have a great day? And you maybe made somebody smile. You may have changed the whole focus of their whole day. That too relieves stress from your own self because of your attitude of thanksgiving towards someone else. It's forgiveness and thankfulness. Thanksgiving does a lot for you, does a lot for them. Another thing I saw this on social media was the advice to shut off the news and turn on some music. And whatever your music is that does it for you, turn it on. And, someone in their 70s today, that might be some really nice, relaxing rock and roll from back in the day, because that was the music you jive to. That was the music you connect to. So maybe that's the music. Back when I was in college, I used to study to, rock and roll music on in the background because that I found relaxing. And sometimes it's something like a real quite soft jazz, whatever that music is, turn off the news turn on some music, and let go of the world. So angry people, frustrated people, the world has a lot of unfortunate junk going on. And, let's not add to it. Let's be that smoothing voice. And I kind of wonder too, what do you do? How do you perceive this? Do you perceive this as being something that's at all true, or or did I, fall off the turnip truck this morning and don't know what I'm talking about? I'd love to hear what you think about and perceive about and do about our world of, anxiety ridden and frustrated people. Because according to what you see on the broader scope, they're out there. And with that, I just wanted to mention that when you are dealing with someone and they maybe they're not coming across pristine, and you're thinking, well, who pissed in your cornflakes? Remember that that person has a world and a life, and they may watch a lot of news, and their life is like as wide as this screen, right? And what you know about them wouldn't fit in the width of a finger over on one side. That's all you know of them, that brief little snapshot. So don't be too quick to jump on someone who's having a bad day. Maybe they just need a hug. And I'm not going to suggest you, jump around a corner over a counter and hug somebody. That could have implications too. But a simple smile. Have a great day. So that's my babble for today. And if you have anything to add or all that kind of stuff, please feel free to do. And you have an awesome rest of your day.